A huge majority of divorces and breakups could be avoided simply by communication. So we often focus on what our partner's not doing. She's not helping, she's getting angry, she's this, she's that. What are they doing that they're doing well? The first problem in a social contract for most men is they are disconnected from their partner and they don't know how to communicate effectively to recreate that connection. That's very simple. There are 5 principles. Principle number one. As a man, you want to have your needs met, especially when it comes to your partner or wife. You want to have love, you want to have sex, you want to be respected and appreciated for all the hard work you do, and you want your wife to look at you with desire and lust. That's what every man wants. Now, one of the most important parts of a relationship is getting those desires met. But you can be damn sure if you're currently not getting what you want from your partner or wife, then she isn't getting what she desires either. And that's why desires, love languages, and connection is so important in a relationship. So in today's podcast episode, we're going to discuss how to upgrade the social contract in your relationship so that her needs are met and that your needs are met. Ultimately, so that you both feel happy and fulfilled in your connection and relationship together. If you get value from this episode, make sure to give it 5 stars, a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and strap on in, take heaps of notes, learning about social contracts with your partner or wife. Social contracts part 3, and today we start diving into the first of a 2-part series for improving the relationship with your partner or wife. Now, if you haven't watched the previous 2 episodes, I highly recommend you go and do that before you watch this episode. I'll link them down below. It's all about this idea of a social contract. Quick recap on what that is. A social contract is the unwritten or unsaid rules, regulations, areas that a relationship goes through. We have them with our partner, we have them with our kids, and we also have them with ourselves. What we accept, what is acceptable in the relationship. So in the previous 2 episodes, we talked about the relationship with yourself, and that's the basis of having a great relationship as a leader in your business, as a husband, as a father, as a modern day man. In today's episode, we're going to start diving into the social contracts you have in the relationship with your wife or partner. Whether you're divorced and have ended a relationship, or whether you're currently in one right now that's struggling and the spark is gone, or whether you just want to improve your relationship and it's already pretty good, this is extremely important. Because in your relationship with your partner or wife, there are currently rules and there are currently things that are unsaid. She has expectations of you. She has things she wants from you. She has things she needs from you. And you can be damn sure, no matter how good you are at this game of life, there are expectations and desires she has that are not being met. And I guarantee as a man, you want more of any one of these things. You want more love. You want more appreciation for all the hard work you do. You want to be respected. You want to be understood for the weight of the world on your shoulders. And you want to have somebody who's not just a whole or not just someone you can have sex with, somebody that you can be a best friend with, a soulmate. If you're currently lacking any of those things, then that means the social contract you have with your partner is currently not working. So I'm going to give you some tools at the end of this episode that we've given all of our clients that are going to help you immensely with your relationships. But before we do that, we dive into the first problem. The first problem that most men have in their relationship with their partner, wife, or significant other is this feeling of disconnection. It's being on opposite ends of the couch at the end of the day. For Rosie and I, even though I teach this stuff, and we've got over 170 clients at the time of recording this, we've coached over 800, every evening this is the routine. We finish our day, Rosie has made the food, she's cleaned up downstairs, either I bathe our daughter or Rosie bathes our daughter, and then she puts her into bed, reads her a book. I'm reading my iPad, some fantasy novel. Rosie's next to me. She's on her phone scrolling. And even though I teach this stuff, there are many nights where we are disconnected. We're disconnected physically. We're disconnected emotionally. We're disconnected intimately. And when you have this disconnection in your relationship, it leads to the second problem, which is you struggle to communicate effectively. So both of you have desires. Both of you want love, appreciation, support, empathy and understanding and respect. Every human wants that, especially from our partner. Now, when there's a disconnection in a relationship, and you're not getting love, appreciation, support, empathy and understanding and respect, a resentment begins to build. And this is where stories begin to come up. Stories such as, her job is easy. All she has to do is look after the kids, make sure they don't die, keep the house clean, and cook if your wife is a housewife. Now, obviously, that's just a story, and it's not true. Their job is not easy. Now, she has the same story about you. That story is, he works too much, he's never home, he's never present. So now what happens in this social contract is, you both have these stories, and in that unwritten agreement, that social contract of partners, you both have resentment, and you don't tell the person how you're feeling. A lot of the time we suppress it. And what you suppress, you express. What you hold in and silence becomes louder. And that's why arguments happen. In so many relationships, we don't share, hey, I really don't like how much you're working. Hey, would we be able to change the way we have this agreement where I'm doing everything with the kids? Hey, would you be able to take some more time off? We don't ask nicely. We don't ask patiently. We ask when it builds up, it's suppressed, it's not communicated, and then we explode like a ticking time bomb because we're angry and resentful with the list of things that our partner has done in the past that are completely irrelevant to the present moment. Have you ever had your partner get angry at you for something that you did a week ago or a month ago or a year ago? This is what I'm talking about. It comes down to two problems. There is a disconnection, physically, intimately. You don't feel the same way you did at the beginning. And that disconnection is not communicated effectively between both parties. Why? Because we don't know how to communicate it. We don't know how to say it calmly and patiently without triggering that other person. Because when we do share something with that other person, we end up attacking them. As soon as someone feels attacked, they defend, and now there's an argument, and no one actually feels heard, no one feels understood. If you can relate to any of that, understand it's not your fault. It is very, very simple to fix. So now we know the problems. Disconnection, a lack of communication where you don't share things, and then instead of giving love, appreciation, support, empathy, understanding, and respect, it's replaced by resentment, frustration, anger, and a disconnection. That's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is rewriting the social contract with your partner to a place where you feel the same level of connection you did at the beginning. And I want you to think for a second. How long have you been with your partner? How long have you been together? How are things different now compared to the beginning? For Rosie and I, at the beginning, we didn't have a child. At the beginning, we could do whatever we wanted. If we wanted to go traveling, we could do it. If we wanted to spend money, we could do it. But when you have a child, it's very different. Sex is different. Making time for each other is different. And as the father or husband, you will always come second. The children will always come first. That's something my father actually taught me. That's very different. At the beginning, there was a spark, there was excitement, there was fun. We weren't scrolling on our phones at the end of the day. We were communicating and connecting. So to rewrite the social contract and to feel, and if you want this, to feel the same level of connection you did at the beginning, that's fucking hard. That's hard to do. And the only way you're going to get that is by strategically striking with a laser focus. Now, laser refers to the words that I've used multiple times. We think we're giving love, that's the L in laser, A, appreciation, S, support, E, empathy and understanding. It used to be LASUR, but I changed it. And then R, respect. We strategically strike our partner. It's strategic. It's like throwing into the bullseye. It's strategic. You do it at the right time in the right place so that you can rewrite the social contract and get that spark back. You give love, appreciation, support, empathy, understanding, and respect to that person. And when you do that, they start to see a change in the relationship and how they feel about you. Where in your life have you stopped doing that? So now we reconnect like we did at the beginning. We strategically strike with laser focus. It's like a laser, love, appreciation, support, empathy, understanding, and respect. And you communicate clear desires, expectations, and boundaries. Let me explain this one. Do you currently know what your partner expects from you, desires from you, and what the boundaries are in your relationship? Do you have complete clarity on the expectations, desires, and boundaries, the things they want from you, the things they don't want from you, the things they love about you, the things they don't love about you? For most men, it's a no. And ironically enough, do they know what we expect from them, what we desire from them, and what our boundaries are, what we don't want from them? The answer is fucking no. So to change the social contract, we've got to have clarity on what our partner actually wants and what we want. And the only way you can have that clarity is to communicate the clear desires, expectations, and boundaries. So to have connection, like you did at the beginning, you got to give that laser focus and you've got to communicate these things. And that's fucking hard to do. If you're getting value from this content and you want to upgrade yourself, you want to fix your marriage or relationships, you want to find work-life balance, or you want to be successful and winning in life, then SMS the number on the screen right now saying upgrade. SMS upgrade to 0482 097 778. That's +61 482 097 778. SMS upgrade to +61 482 097 778. And what we'll do is we'll send you all of our best content on health, wealth, and relationships completely for free. So SMS the number on the screen right now to get on our list, and we'll send you all the stuff you need to win. So how do we tie it all together? It's very simple. There are 5 principles. Principle number 1, laser focus. Laser focus is part of our love meeting framework. We've shared a podcast on that in the past. But ultimately, when you give laser focus, love, appreciation, support, understanding, and respect, you give that enough times, it's going to come back to you. Principle number 2, you have got to give in order to get. You have got to give in order to get. Unfortunately, we live in a world where it's not enough as a man to just make money and provide. And when I say unfortunately, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice to just work hard, make money, come home, and everything's sorted. You get the love, the kids don't climb over you, it's all good. It doesn't work that way. What we tend to do as men is we build resentment, and we especially get upset when we work hard and our partner's angry at us or upset, or she won't give us sex. That's what typically high performance men do. They get angry and triggered. It's also why they cheat, because they're not getting love at home. So they go and search for it externally elsewhere because they're not getting it from the person who's supposed to give it, right? As men, when we don't get what we want, we start to get resentful and we give less. We give less communication. We give less love. We give less respect to our partner. We give less understanding, less empathy. We judge them for not being at our level. We judge them for not being able to look after the kids. We judge them for getting upset at the family. I've done this multiple times with Rosie, my wife. Again, I teach this. She'll get angry at Talia for acting like a 2-year-old. It's not intentional. She's had a bad day. She's had a shit sleep. When you look at it from that perspective, you can really easily see that it's hard for her. But instead, you'll fall into a pattern, and I've done this many times, of judgment. You're like, it's not that hard. Just look after her. Don't snap at her. We give these things instead of giving love, appreciation, support, understanding, and respect. From a frame of understanding, I would go and help my wife, even though I've had a long day. And it's really hard to get your head around this, but if you want to improve the social contract with your family or your partner, you've got to give in order to get. Principle number 3, relationships are a mirror. I talked about this in the previous episode. Relationships are a mirror. So whatever you don't like in your partner, whatever part of that social contract is currently not working with you and your wife, if you get angry at her for getting triggered at the kids, that's a mirror for you. She's triggered at the kids. You're triggered at her. It is a mirror. It is facing you right there to show you a part of yourself you get to work on. If you and your wife are arguing over stupid things and she says something that sets you off and you get angry and start yelling, that's a mirror for you to look at that trigger and why it triggers you so much. If you come home and you feel unappreciated for all the hard work you do, that's a mirror for you to ask yourself, where do I show her appreciation for what she goes through? If we understand laser focus, love, appreciation, support, understanding, and empathy, respect, whenever we feel like we're not getting that from our partner, we get to remind ourselves that's a mirror. I don't feel appreciated. Where am I not giving appreciation? I feel unloved. Where am I not giving love? And you'll start to realize that you've got to give in order to get. And you'll start to realize that we don't even know what makes them feel those things because we never fucking ask. Which leads to the fourth principle. Communication is the key to connection. Communication is the key to connection. A huge majority of divorces and breakups could be avoided simply by communication. Communication is fucking hard. Communication takes effort. It's very difficult to communicate when we numb ourselves with our screens, when we numb ourselves with alcohol or drugs, when we numb ourselves with work. It's very difficult to be honest and vulnerable with our wife or partner, to ask them what they want, to find out what we're not giving them, and to ask them for something in return without being an angry, arrogant prick. That's hard to do. When you run a business and you want your employee to do something, you say, hey, I'd like you to do this thing, and they go do it. And if they don't do it, you fire them. It doesn't work that way with our partner. Communication is the key to connection. Before my relationship ended 7 or 8 years ago, my partner said 6 months before the words came out, I don't love you anymore. Before she said that, 6 months before, we were having lunch and she said, I don't think this is going to work. And I swept that under the rug and my response was, don't say things like that. The social contract was sweeping things under the rug. If currently you're not communicating well with your partner, if you don't understand their desires and expectations and you're not getting yours met, it means that you're disconnected. And the only way to connect is to communicate these things. So the question you get to ask yourself is, what am I not communicating? What am I not learning about her? Which takes us to our final principle, and we've done 2 podcast episodes on this. The 5 love languages. There are 5 love languages that provide you or your partner with laser focus, love, appreciation, support, empathy, and understanding and respect. They are words of affirmation. So when I tell you that I'm proud of you, that is a word of affirmation. For me, that's my highest love language. If you tell me I'm doing well, if you tell me you're proud of me, my team member Sam, who's on this podcast, he's probably the only person on the planet who does this for me. My wife, when she tells me those things, I feel loved. If I tell her that I love her, it doesn't mean anything to her. Acts of service, doing things for someone, working hard for your family, that's an act of service, right? Doing something thoughtful for them, that's an act of service. Opening the door, that's an act of service. Receiving gifts, that's pretty obvious. Quality time, spending time with your family where you're present and paying attention to them, and physical touch. Hugging, kissing, sex, for a lot of guys, that's important. So if we tie this all together, the first problem in a social contract for most men is they are disconnected from their partner and they don't know how to communicate effectively to recreate that connection. On the other side, when you rewrite the social contract in your relationship, you feel the same level of connection you did at the beginning. You are able to strike with laser focus and you communicate your clear desires, expectations, and boundaries. 2 contrasts, negative social contract, positive. How do we do this? We understand laser focus, love, appreciation, support, empathy, respect, understanding. We give that to them. You have got to give in order to get. We realize that relationships are a mirror. Everything that triggers us is a mirror. Everything that's not working is a mirror. It all comes back to you. When you take complete ownership of the quality of your relationships, it comes back to you. And you realize that communication is the key to connection. And you get to communicate all of that I just said. And you get to give the 5 love languages and you get to get the 5 love languages. So tying this all together, I want to give you a practical tool that we use with our clients. And this is the tool. Step 1, identify your partner's love languages. What makes your partner feel loved, appreciated, supported, empathized with, understood, and respected? Step 2, identify your own love languages. What do you desire? What do you expect? What do you want? What does she want? What do you want? Do you even understand that in your contract? Step number 3, identify the gaps on each side. So you know what she wants, you know what you want. Where are the gaps? Where are the expectations and desires currently not being met in your relationship? And step number 4, communication is the key to connection. Have a conversation about this exercise. Have a conversation about her love languages, your love languages. What are the gaps? What are you going to do about it? This is very fucking difficult to do. And it's the first step. Next week, we have the second step on how you can have this conversation. So what I'll do, I'll share my screen here. If you're listening on a podcast, you can just write these down. These are the questions you get to ask yourselves. Question number 1. What are my partner's love languages? It's either words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch. Put them in order. What's the number one thing your partner, at least what you think, you don't have to ask, what does your partner need the most? Is it you telling her how much you appreciate her? Is it you doing things for her, helping with the kids, acts of service, helping around the house? Is it receiving gifts, buying her things? Is it just spending time with her? Is it holding hands, sex? What is the number one thing your partner wants? What is number 2 all the way down to number 5? Question number 2. What are my love languages? Again, put them in order. What's the most important thing for you? What's the least important? Next question. What am I currently doing to make my partner's needs feel met? You ask yourself, what am I doing to meet those needs and desires, to meet those love languages for my partner? What am I currently doing? And then you ask yourself the next question, what am I currently not doing to make my partner's needs feel met? So you establish what they want, you establish what you want. Then you ask yourself, cool, what am I currently doing to make that happen? Working hard, providing, great. But what am I not doing to make my partner's needs feel met? It's a powerful question. You'll realize there's a lot of stuff on that list. Then you ask yourself the opposite. What is my partner currently doing to make my needs feel met? You see, in relationships, we often focus on what our partner's not doing. She's not helping. She's getting angry. She's this, she's that. What are they doing that they're doing well? For Rosie, she does so much around the house that I get to acknowledge, but sometimes I forget that. What is my partner currently doing to make my needs feel met? And then what is my partner currently not doing to make my needs feel met? So now we know what they want. Now we know what you want. We know what you are doing, what you're not doing. We know what she's doing, what she's not doing. We have clarity now on the social contract. And you'll realize you haven't talked about half of this shit. It just happens. There's no fucking process. The final few questions. To change this social contract, what am I not communicating that gets to be communicated? What am I not communicating that gets to be communicated? If you understand what she wants, what you're doing to make it happen, what you're not, how do you get to communicate that? If you understand what you want and what she's doing and what she's not, how do you get to communicate that? And you're not going to figure out the answer right away. This is why people sign up to our Empowered Man program, because it's a lot easier to do this with coaching. This is a free podcast with a shitload of value. What are you not communicating that gets to be communicated? And what is your biggest lesson from doing this exercise? Now, if you want to take this the final step, when will you have a conversation with your partner about this exercise in your lessons? You can write down these questions and you can literally say, hey, I've had this epiphany. I listened to this podcast on the internet and I've learned that you're probably lacking these things in our relationship. I'm lacking these things in our relationship. I'm currently trying to do these things right, but I'm probably not doing these things right. Am I on the mark there? Have I got that right? What do you want from me? What am I doing that's good? What am I not doing that you want, right? And you start to have this conversation to find out more about the contract. You start to talk to your partner and say, what do you want from me that I'm not giving you? I haven't communicated these things with you. No one does this in relationships. It's fucking fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. But can you see how if you don't do this, how it's so easy to get disconnected? And the crazy thing is, especially as high performance men and business owners, we do this with our team. Like, we have regular meetings. We communicate what's working and what's not working. We communicate if expectations are being met. We don't do this in our personal relationships. And it's fucking fascinating. If you can treat your personal relationship with yourself, your partner, your kids, like you do your business without the intensity of business, you have the most amazing relationship. But there's going to be resistance. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. The alternative is either being in a lifeless marriage, lacking intimacy and sex, or being another divorce statistic. And honestly, the choice is whether you do the work or not. There's the pain of doing this exercise and having these conversations and getting to know someone and getting to know your social contracts versus the pain of sweeping this under the rug and the pain of not doing anything about it. And that pain is far greater because you'll waste years of your life only for it to fucking fail. This is the first step to rewriting the social contract with your partner and finding out what they want and what you want and moving forward on the path to getting it. Because there's no point being successful, making money and providing if your relationship with your partner falls apart. But it's so simple to fix. And it starts with understanding your love languages, desires, and needs, understanding her love languages, desires, and needs, figuring out how you're both meeting and not meeting those things, and then fucking communicating about it. So your action step for today's podcast, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to ask yourself these questions. What are my partner's love languages? Put them in order. What are my love languages? Put them in order. If you don't know what love languages are, go and find the episode. I'll put it in the show notes on how we coach this. What am I currently doing to make my partner's needs feel met? What am I currently not doing to make my partner's needs feel met? What is my partner currently doing to make my needs feel met? What is my partner currently not doing to make my needs feel met? And then what am I not communicating that gets to be communicated? What is my biggest lesson from this exercise? And when will I have a clearing conversation with my partner about this exercise and my lessons? Schedule a day, schedule a time, and give it a red hot crack. So I hope this makes sense. This is step 1 of social contracts with your partner. Next week, we're going to dive into step 2, or the next episode, which is going deeper on this and really reconnecting. I hope you got value from this. If you did, please give it 5 stars wherever you're listening. Share it with a friend. Give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Empowered Man podcast. If you're getting value from this content and you want to upgrade yourself, you want to fix your marriage or relationships, you want to find work-life balance, or you want to be successful and winning in life, then SMS the number on the screen right now saying upgrade. SMS upgrade to 0482 097 778. That's +61 482 097 778. SMS upgrade to +61 482 097 778. And what we'll do is we'll send you all of our best content on health, wealth, and relationships completely for free. So SMS the number on the screen right now to get on our list, and we'll send you all the stuff you need to win.